Alright guys, I decided to start the video from this dark. Sorry, it's no longer dark. Let me close the door again. Yeah, that's how the whole thing looks like when you got out of the car. Okay, let's start the car. So this is the new Touareg, and first impression, there are no aircon vents here. It's only here on the passenger side. There is no, here, they're here, down here. All right, down here we get aircon vents as well. And yep, here, and with a giant screen in the middle that if you run your finger, it runs across here. So it feels like a single unit, but it's actually two units, okay? There are no panoramic roofs. Let's go for a drive in a brand that I am very familiar with, VAG Group's car. Okay, I am in my, I would say, very comfortable sitting position. And the first impression is that the cowl, the entire dashboard is set very high with two objectives in mind. First, to make you feel that you are sitting in a sedan, in a low sedan where you sit very low, and then you know the dash is up there, and that's the first thing. The second thing is to accommodate a giant screen that is not giant in the way of diagonal inches only. You see, a lot of people like to market their screens as, you know, 12-inch, 16-inch, whatever. But they forgot to mention the degree where it is calculated, right? Because if this one is, let's say, 14 or 15, let's say 14 or 15 inch, I'm not sure, right? But if it is like that, it's a big screen. Okay, if it's 14, 15 inch, but if it is like that, it's only a long screen that also measures 15, 16 inch, but it becomes a long rectangular screen as opposed to a more squarish, more usable screen in the 3:4 ratio, right? I can have a 20-inch screen, but if it is 20 inch by 3 inch, there's not much to use, right? Like those long screens that run across the entire dash in China cars. All right. Now, it's a Touareg. Touareg is the father that gives birth, technically speaking, by group-wise, right? This is Volkswagen Group, right? Touareg is the one that gives the platform to Audi Q7, Q8, Porsche Cayenne, Cayenne Coupe, Bentley Bentayga, Lamborghini Urus. Yeah, but do they drive similar? Do they behave similar? No, not at all. You know, VAG Group is so good that they are merely sharing the platform, but there are a lot of customizations, and they all behave differently. They all drive differently, because a car is not just the metal frame. It is, of course, the engineers, the suspension tuning, the type of technology that the brand can afford. What do I mean by the brand can afford? Volkswagen, of course, can afford everything. They can afford anything, right? But with the Volkswagen badge, how high can they push the price determines how much technology they can incorporate, and of course, their positioning as well. That's why you will not see a Volkswagen Touareg with Porsche's 48-volt active anti-roll bar system fitted. Wow, to balance the car during cornering so you can dive in and all that, and you know, all the on a Porsche, I don't know how to say them, PDDC or PACC or PASM, too many things, okay? So this is primarily a premium product, because it sits in the premium range of Volkswagen, and its main objective is to be comfortable, to be usable, yeah, basically doing all the brief that a Volkswagen should do. And usually they do it very, very well. all Volkswagen cars handle well. They are properly fitted together. They come with good engines, good transmissions. They are very hard to fault in a way. So all I can tell you is how it feels driving one if you are considering one, like if it is within your buying proposition. First of all, from my vantage point, like when you sit here and you look out, right, let's say your field of view to the front, half of my field of view is dominated by the dash. That's how I feel when I sit in this car. Usually in an SUV, right, you would expect a taller glass house. Basically, the windscreen area should be taller, broader, and then you should sit a bit higher. Of course, it's adjustable. You can adjust the seats, right? But I'm talking about how it was designed to be. When I mention designed to be, that will be the correlation between my hands holding the wheels and how far away the armrests are. Here, the armrest, I'm barely touching it because I've moved the seats to its, not the highest, but a high position. Okay, let me see how high I can go. Oh, it's still going up. Wow, I am 180 cm and I'm currently at the highest setting, and I can rest my arms on the window ledge here, and this is the view I get whenever I drive a Range Rover. All right, this is nice. I have a commanding view on the road ahead, and my head is still not touching the headliner. All right, but of course, if I flip the sun visors down, I cannot see the road at all. So this is not the optimum driving position for me. But if you are a very petite lady or a petite man, very small size and not very tall, or should I change the word to afraid of heights? Okay, then you can shift it up high. You can still roughly see your, yeah, everything is still visible. Can I adjust this up? Yeah, I can still see everything. Very nice. In fact, this would have a commanding SUV sitting position. But times have changed, right? And if I weigh 96 kilograms, it's better to put 96 kilograms of weight 3 or 4 inches lower. Oh, it's scanning my eyes. Ask me to pay attention on the road because I may be fiddling with too many things while driving. Okay, let's do this. And now I've shifted back to my comfortable sitting position where my arms can comfortably rest on the armrest and control the levers and all that. Then I lost the view of the edge of the dash and all that. The dash is very high. Remember at one point when car makers lower their dash to give you good visibility, but then to have the screen large enough for you to operate and all that, they mount it like a tablet up here, right? Now to integrate it in also means they have to raise the entire dash. So that's the reason this dashboard is so high as compared to other cars. All right, now handling. This car is fitted with Bridgestone Alenza, Bridgestone's SUV tire, I suppose. Pretty all right. The car corners well. I mean, like all Volkswagens do, they drive well. Brakes towards stopping, towards coming to a full stop, right? I mean, the brakes are strong. Make no mistake, the brakes are strong. Okay, just that towards coming to a full stop is pretty strongly servoed. Okay. But it's alright, small observations, not complaints. Okay, the car is of course stiff, drives well, rummage through everything, responsive power, you get all that. You get all that, right? I'm lucky to have come from an era where SUVs couldn't corner. So now when compared to new generation SUVs, they all drive so well. Okay. Now it's a big SUV, don't expect steering feel or whatever there. Even BMWs don't give you that in big SUVs, all right? You just drive, the car controls its weight, you throw it around. It's Nice. Can they make SUV size pedal shifters for once? Because the pedal shifters on all Volkswagens are just tiny 2 little flaps at the back. You know, it would be nice if they are slightly larger. Not that people use them anyway, but just the feel of it, right? When you are in a big car and all that, right? Everything a little bit chunky and all that. Then suddenly you have these 2 small little pedals at the back that would be nicer if they are a little bit larger. But again, people don't use them, so might as well they get out of the way from your view or whatever. I just push it once, it went to M2. I'll see if I drive normally, will it come back to automatic, which I remember Volkswagens do. Like, I don't touch them for a while, they should go back. So far it did not. Or was that BMW? Anyway, yeah, it doesn't, so I have to push it here and then push it back, then it goes back to automatic. Maybe I got it wrong, I jumbled up. Quiet, comfortable, big screens, a lot of stuff's flashing at me, widgets, all that, maps. And up here you get, maybe you can do the settings, but so far there's no haptic feedback from touching, you know. But these days, when all infotainment systems have gone full touchscreen, full optimization for touchscreen, they turn into mobile phones, where main screen you get widgets, and then inside is icon base, just straight up icons with the word there, and pretty self-explanatory. Okay, and I think they are so good at all this now. They can adapt different skins for different models, even though the underlying system is the same, the functionality is the same. Okay, overall, from what I observe, nothing to complain. Nothing to complain. I mean, you get all the terrain settings, air suspension settings, everything is here. Everything that you need is here. Steering wheel is slightly, oh, I never realized that. Interesting. So the car had start-stop function. Just now when I come to a stop, it has switched off the engine. Air conditioning maintains, and then usually you step on the throttle and then you start the engine back. But just now I try to pull the steering wheel a little bit, it also triggers the starting of the engine. The engine gets fired back up. No feel at all. You can feel it started, but doesn't disrupt me at all. Overall, I would say visibility of the car is good, but the windscreen is narrow. All right, to give it a very sporty proposition, to make it look sportier, they reduce the height of the glass house area for the proportion of the car. Okay, so if it has more windscreen area, it will be nicer to view out, more light coming in. But so far, that's a small observation. All right, what else? I've heard the sound system is okay, you know, not blasting, not in the way of like super duper capable, but it's a good sound system. Dyna Audio or Harman Kardon and all that. Volkswagen, when they put a branded audio system here, is good. Okay, is the interior attractive? Modern, certainly. Beautiful or not, it's like the new Audis, you know. The only difference that this car has now with the new Audis is that the new Audis has a split screen, and that's about it. They look the same. They look clean and clinical and tidy, and is it beautiful? No. Is it ugly? No, it's not ugly at all. It's just functional. It's just there, you know. Suspension. Let's just go through this. Beautiful. beautiful. Remember, a lot of people has this misconception with air suspension. Air suspension doesn't do well with like those really bad patches. You know, when you have air suspension, it does really well in slowing down the reaction of the body as versus to the tires. When you have undulations and all that, right, air suspension is fantastic. But when it's bad roads or those tiny little strips, right, it gets sent into the car because they can't react fast enough. So you get the dum 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 and all that in air suspension. But it's the overall ride quality. It's less busy than a coil setup. Okay. I'll go through the interior later with my walk around video, but overall driving wise, rearward visibility, side visibility, everything is alright. Of course, if the side mirrors are as huge as those oh, that's another Touareg. Yeah, it's not a bad looking car, but it's a badge swappable car, meaning that you can swap the badge of that car to an Audi, it will fit. You can badge swap that car to a Kia, it will fit. Right, it's just the type of modern design that they are just like that, you know. It's not ugly. It's not. It's not immediately identifiable. Which, in modern days, BMW is very, very good at it. You know, they make ugly cars that are attractive. That is a skill set. You know, BMW now has turned ugliness into art. Right, the iX, the XM, they're all ugly cars, but they are attractive. They attract you to look at them. They make you remember them. And I think that is a very good strategy in differentiating themselves, in exemplifying the persona of the owner as someone with unique taste, even though everyone bought one. And they are very successful at that. Right? Is not good looking, right? It's offensive as compared to this. This one is not offensive at all, but this one blends to the background. That one catches attention, and you know, anyone who's good in social studies and all that, having a character, a persona, is always better than having none. Okay. So yep, steering. For a big car like this, right, that is tall and high and big, carries a lot of mass, right, I actually would prefer the steering wheel to be slightly slower. It's not that I'm in sports mode or whatever, but it's a fast rack, right? Reaction is fast, but it controls really well. It gets controlled very, very well, right? My son asked me, Daddy, why you like to go to visitor lane and say hi to the guard instead of using my card, the card? I say, very simple. I want the guard to remember me. And like I said, you will only ask favor from someone you like, right? You will not ask a favor from someone you don't like. So if I always ask for a favor from the guards, that will give him the impression that I like him, so he will like me back. For interior wise, I prefer that. Soothing, clean interior that just makes you comfortable and doesn't intimidate you with technology. I like that. Okay, now let's look for a place without much sunlight for me to do my walk around video, which my usual spot is no longer possible because it's so bright. The sun is crazy these days. Oh my god. So where should I do my walk around? Let me think. Inside is too dark. Outside is too bright. It's 12 o'clock now. I just need a spot. Someone is reversing. Yeah, you think it's easy, right? For us to do walkarounds and all that? No, we need to find a place. Thank you. Sorry, All right, let's do my walk around. Cheers. All right, this is the interior of the car. Screen, like all cars, okay? And the car just decided to switch off by itself. Oh, now it switches on by itself because it's trying to manage that, you know. Yeah, it's not an EV. EV will have none of the vibration and all that you can feel in petrol cars, starting or restarting and all that. But no need to explain that, they're different. You get a diffuser type of aircon vents over here. The center is the duct. 2 aircon vents there, 2 aircon vents here. Pretty dark here, no lighting inside, but there's a wireless charger down here. Come on, charge. There we go. Okay, 2 aircon vents here. No aircon is diverted to the wireless charger. Let me turn it on, the lights. No aircon is diverted here, but you can push these 2 down and I can definitely feel cold air being blown there, which is like a incidental benefit. But of course, the better way is to route aircon to the wireless charger because they get hot, and these days I don't use them anymore. All right, material, of course, when you hear Volkswagen Group, it's gonna be top notch anyway, right? They are always damn good at it. Here I can feel an indentation for heads-up display, but of course the spec we get in Malaysia don't, because we have to balance the let me turn it off. We have to balance the price. Okay, what I meant with high cowl is that this is my vantage point, and it may not be immediately apparent to you guys, but the windscreen height is actually pretty narrow for such a big SUV. Usually they will have a little bit more. The entire cowl, we call this the cowl, C-O-W-L, is very high up. Okay, it's designed that way. Of course, you can move your seats higher, but that would mean it's even narrower over here by then. Anyway, no complaints actually. That is an observation, but something to get used to. If you're in big SUVs, this one definitely gives you slightly tighter front visibility. Okay, and you sit low as opposed to the cowl. Okay, down here we have all the light switches as we expected. Great build quality from Volkswagen Group. Everything is nice to touch. Stitches over here, very nice inlays, ambient lighting, changeable colors of course. Armrest, you have the best design which slots your palms in. Then you have all the controls over here. The boot release is over here. Everything is very, very logical. Okay, let me turn this on. Sorry, outside is too hot. Now look at the door panel. The entire piece is one piece of plastic. When you touch it, it certainly tells you this is not an Audi. Audi will use a higher grade material, Porsche of course, and Lamborghini, Bentley, whatnot. All right, so that's how they do their thing. But if you run your hand through the door bin, look for any sharp edges. There's none. All right, do that in other German brands and judge for yourself. Okay, or Japanese brand. Okay, now you have the speaker housing over here, but it's not metal and Dyna Audio branded like that. So probably the Dyna Audio part is just the tweeters. All right, with the just to look good. Okay, here is just some plastic holes being molded together, so they save costs, a lot of costs. Okay, now of course I would prefer the speakers to be completely housed up here so that you can have a full length door bin, but here has nothing to do with that. What's going on here? There's just a hole, maybe for you to stash your contraband when you go into Singapore. Put it deep inside there. Anyway, oh yeah, look at that. It doesn't even flex one bit. Volkswagen solidity. Alright, here you get a huge holder. The cover is huge, but the compartment inside is only like that, but you can put 2 smart tags as opposed to 1, and it's covered in felt. Okay, so that's pretty nice. Alright, some mechanisms over there just to make you feel nicer. Most are just a release here, so this is a little bit more premium. Okay, light controls, not the usual dials anymore. Yeah, German brands ditching all that they are known for. Very simple. Lights up here instead of inside. And what do you get? You get double, because this car is popular in US and a lot of European countries. In the midsummer sun coming from the side, it's super glaring, and then you get another one, you know. Canadian reviewers, the straight pipes, they will like it. Oh, one more thing. Oh, they don't like it. You can't pull it, but it's long enough. All right, there we go. LED lights up here. Let me switch this off. Heating up my phone. Other than that, what else? The funny thing is that the contrast is that when they have lights over here, it makes everything else look darker than they are. Usually our eyes would adjust, you know, but because of all these highlights in the car, it just makes all these places look darker than they should be. And proper ambient lighting would have light up the door bins, some of the footwells and all that, you know, but this one is just the strip running across. So just to let you all know, you know, what I observe. Okay, the seats are small for the car, especially this upper part. So I'm seated here. I want you to look at my shoulder. My shoulder is completely out of the seat. Both sides is out of the seat. I would prefer the seat to wrap me around so it's more comfortable, right? So when I'm driving, see that? My shoulder is just out of the seat on both sides. Okay. Steering wheel is fantastic. A little bit of a oblong kind of shape, you know, like a squashed round. It's not square. It's not. I mean, a little bit of flat bottom, but we've gotten used to it. I think it's perfect in terms of the size of it versus the screen. Nothing gets blocked from my vantage point, so visibility, in-car visibility, is fantastic. All right, here, this ginormous screen, gonna take some getting used to for me. Okay, considered pretty responsive, not the fastest or snappiest, but it doesn't lag in a way. All right, they've done it all right, I would say. Okay, you have, is it different type of interface or oil level? Okay, everything is there. Yeah, take some time to wander around it, but by no means it's difficult to use. Okay, you have a widget screen up front and your clock and all that. Yeah, the screen is very smooth to the touch. So in terms of registering what you are doing, sometimes you want to go up and then you manage to, you know, then you will slide, things like that. Nothing much. All right, let's come over here. 2 cup holders, a cutout in the middle. All right, they put some ambient lighting there to attract you to buy them in the showroom. No choice these days, right? You need to make your cars like this so that when customers get in, oh, I feel like it's a new car, it's a brand new car, right? The volume knob is crazy, right? It's a huge job, you know, very nice feel. But I would love if this is on the steering wheel. But then, of course, nowadays, to simplify steering wheel construction, reduce warranty claim and all that, they just put a panel and it's all touch sensitive, you know, just one whole thing instead of individual buttons, you know, where you can peel one off if you are not careful. Big chunky gear lever. Right, there's this button here that you press and operate it, and then you press P to go into park. Self-explanatory there. Start stop engine here, handbrake, parking brake. Okay, auto hold, off traction control, emergency hazard lights, and here would be for the air suspension, you know, to go lower, to go up, to go super high. Is it pumping up? Oh, it is going high now. The rear's turn, and then the front. You can see the correlation to the Porsche there. Is it done yet? Still doing it. Right, level off-road 2. Okay, now I've raised the air suspension, go all the way down, and now it's pumping air out and lowering the car. You will see some instances where it goes up. It's only because the rear is coming down, then it's the front's turn, each of them taking turns. Okay, so basically, yeah, coming down takes some time actually. It's pretty slow. Anyway, here is the driving modes. There's so many modes, you know. Windy road, straight road, racing, straight road, high speed driving with the love there. I do not know what's that. Maybe eco, I don't know. Mountainous, snow, and mountain with trees. No, straight road with trees, maybe the back roads. Okay, here nothing much, just a compartment with 2 USB-C ports. Material is alright. Does it pull? Does it? No, nothing, none of that. New age. I wish it has a panoramic roof or a sunroof, but it doesn't. Okay, let's go to the rear seats. Doors are chunky like German cars. Extra layers of soundproofing, rubber seals and all that. Alright, it's a big car from the outside. Okay, the rear is comfortable. It's alright. My shoes are size 11.5. Very comfortable. A lot of room. Even though I've lowered the seat to the max. This is the lowest setting up front. Okay, plenty of room behind here. The seat base is not the most sculptured type because they considered kids as well. So you can see that the seats doesn't go full to the back of my knee, because if it's too long, if this seat base is too long, shorter kids can't bend their knees, then their legs will be left hanging. Okay, there are cars that are even shorter to accommodate even younger families. So this car is pretty big, but it's Volkswagen. If it is an Audi, probably they will fit a seat that is longer, but it's a Volkswagen, so they are figuring that, okay, this will be parents in their high 30s, you know, they made it, but they are not super rich yet to get into a Cayenne yet, so the kids are probably 7, 8 years old, 8, 9 years old, so they can sit well. In cars that are smaller in category, they will put even narrower rear bench, because the kids probably are, you know, 6 or 7, which by right, in some people say, oh, you should put them in child seats, but you know the battle between being a parent, having a comfortable drive versus noisy kids. I wish there's a dome light here, you know, even though there are ambient lighting in the car's lighting just don't feel enough. Now the seat bench can be lowered. Sorry. Ugh, there we go. That's one step lower. Now that gives a very comfortable seating position. Okay, this one nothing much, just 2 holes and a cushion, exactly like a Cayenne. Okay, so at the back here, I would say it's comfortable enough, but not super luxurious corseting, because that will eat into Audi or Porsche's territory. All right, so yeah, that's a dilemma with Volkswagen Group. Too many brands competing in the same segment. All right, but all for the better. All right, and there's Skoda as well. And the leather is average, really not some top-notch leather. Even look man-made, even feels man-made. Okay, you get your own climate controls at the back, and the car is 400 over 1,000, 470 thereabouts. Okay, aircons on the B pillar. So for the size of the car, this car is not expensive. For the interior appointments, I would say overall quality is a notch lower than Volvo's XC90. Yep. Not just a notch, actually, probably 2 notches lower. You get a red VW badge at the back, and like all modern cars, one whole strip that runs across. Power tailgate is expected, of course. You get this where you can lower the height and all that, and then this one hides a space-saving spare, and a lot of room in there if you remove the spare. These levers drops the seats, and very spacious back. And did that just follow the boot? Let me see. Let me close it. Look at that. So my Audi does that. It used to be a premium feature, and now Volkswagen does that as well. All these are super nice quality. And in terms of the exterior design, some will say it's super good looking. It is good looking. It is good looking, you know. And you can batch swap it at any time to an Audi. It won't look out of place. People wouldn't be suspicious of you in any time. Okay, so it's a good looking car, a good alternative, so go check it out. But it's strictly a 5-seater. All right, and will this be competitive in this modern age? Not sure. Okay, some metal skid plates, metal pedals and all that. Yeah, that's the Touareg.